Welcome back today. We're diving deep into all of the most sought-after and valuable Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1-cent coins from the United States. These coins are treasures for collectors and investors alike, and in today's video, we'll explore their rich history, unique design elements, mintage numbers, market values, and what makes them stand out in the numismatic world. Let's begin with the first coin, the 1936 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny, specifically the large date variety, without any mint mark, found in circulated and somewhat dirty condition. At first glance, this coin may look ordinary to the untrained eye, but its rarity and historical significance elevated to a level of serious numismatic importance. To understand why this particular 1936 penny commands such a high price, often reaching well over $200,000 in auction settings, we need to appreciate its historical backdrop and production circumstances. The 1930s were tumultuous years in America, the tail end of the Great Depression era. During this time, coin production was carefully managed by the U.S. Mint due to metal shortages and the economic climate. While Lincoln Wheat pennies were still in wide circulation, specific varieties like the 1936 large date without a mint mark became rare over time because of limited production and subsequent coin losses. This 1936 large date penny is unique because of its design and minting features. The coin displays the classic wheat penny design, which was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. What makes the 1936 large date penny stand out among collectors is primarily the subtle but distinguishable difference in the font size and positioning of the date digits compared to the small date variety. The large date is characterized by slightly taller and broader numerals, especially noticeable in the 9 and 3 digits. This detail is critical for collectors who seek out rare date variations. Furthermore, the absence of a mint mark on this coin indicates that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not mark its coins with a mint letter at that time. Philadelphia was the primary production facility, but large date variations from Philadelphia in 1936 are scarcer than small date ones due to lower production runs and distribution patterns. The mintage figures for the 1936 Philadelphia large date penny were relatively low, estimated to be around a few million coins. While exact numbers are difficult to verify because of overlapping mintage records and mixing with small date coins, experts generally agree that fewer large date coins from 1936 exist in the market today. Because these coins have been in circulation for decades, finding one in pristine or mint state is exceedingly rare. Most surviving specimens are in circulated condition, and many are dirty or exhibit surface wear, exactly like the coin we are focusing on today. Despite this, the collector community places high value on any authentic 1936 large date penny because of its scarcity and historical appeal. Adding to the coin's desirability is the fact that some specimens exhibit slight die variations or errors, such as doubled dies or repunched dates, though these are not common for this year. The coin we're discussing does not necessarily show major error features, but the rarity of the large date variant alone drives intense collector interest. Collectors and investors understand the 1936 large date wheat penny as a cornerstone for any serious Lincoln wheat penny collection. It represents a pivotal moment in U.S. Mint history and offers a tangible connection to a past era of coinage design. Auctions of well-preserved examples, even those with circulation marks and some dirt, have fetched prices upwards of $200,000 or more, especially when certified by leading grading services like PCGS or NGC. The market for this coin is fueled by a combination of factors: its limited availability, historic value, and the passion of Lincoln cent collectors worldwide. Auctions tend to draw fierce bidding wars because this coin is often the missing key in completing a date and mint mark collection of Lincoln wheat pennies. Many dealers recommend that collectors seeking to acquire this coin do so through reputable auction houses or certified coin dealers to avoid counterfeits or altered coins. The coin's condition, even if circulated and dirty, is carefully evaluated by experts to ensure authenticity. To summarize, the 1936 large date Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in circulated dirty condition remains one of the rarest and most valuable coins from the Lincoln wheat series. Its blend of historical significance, design features, and scarcity combine to make it a star attraction in the numismatic world, commanding auction prices well into six figures. Next up, the 1937 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny. This coin was struck during a period of recovery and change in the United States. The Great Depression was still fresh in the collective memory, and America was slowly moving toward a new era with the New Deal policies already making an impact. The wheat penny itself had become a staple of everyday American currency by this time, symbolizing both the industrious spirit and the common man's experience during the first half of the 20th century. The 1937 large date wheat penny without a mint mark was produced exclusively at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia was the largest coin production facility in the U.S., responsible for striking the majority of pennies during this era. The absence of a mint mark tells us this coin came from that facility. In terms of mintage, the 1937 Philadelphia large date wheat penny had a substantial output, with over 210 million coins produced that year, making it relatively common at first glance. However, what sets this coin apart for collectors, especially in circulated red color and even rusty condition, is its combination of rarity in specific states of preservation and subtle design variations. The design of the Abraham Lincoln wheat penny remained consistent from 1909 through 1958, featuring Victor David Brenner's classic portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. However, within this continuity, nuances such as the size of the date and subtle die differences bring variety and collectability. The 1937 large date variety features a noticeably larger 3 and 7 than the small date variant that was also produced that year. This distinction is critical for collectors seeking to differentiate and value their coins accurately. One fascinating aspect of the 1937 large date wheat penny is the presence of die cracks and die polish lines on some coins, which adds to their allure among numismatists. These minor die errors, though not always visible to the casual observer, create unique markers for experts and enthusiasts alike. Moreover, the circulation were combined with the preservation of the red copper tone, albeit with rust spots, makes this coin a real collector's prize. The red color suggests that the coin has retained some of its original mint luster beneath the surface wear, which is rare for pennies that have been in circulation for over 80 years. Collectors prize circulated red coins because copper oxidizes over time, turning brown or even black, and finding any wheat penny in red is increasingly rare as time passes. The presence of rust, while often considered a detriment, can also be seen as a testament to the coin's authentic journey through time, adding character and a unique story. Rust on copper coins develops due to prolonged exposure to moisture and oxygen, but when it's minimal and does not severely damage the coin's features, collectors sometimes appreciate it as part of the coin's natural patina. The market value for a circulated 1937 large date wheat penny without a mint mark in red rusty condition can be surprisingly high. Due to its combination of being a large date, its scarcity in red color, and the collector interest in wheat pennies. From the 1930s, this coin can fetch upwards of $200,000 in today's auction market, particularly when verified by reputable grading services and auction houses. The demand for these coins stems from both advanced collectors specializing in Lincoln wheat pennies and investors looking for stable, appreciating assets in rare coin form. Auctions often feature spirited bidding for coins with these attributes, pushing the price well beyond what one might expect from a coin with such a high original mintage. This remarkable value is also influenced by the fact that the 1937 large date without mint mark is a cornerstone for anyone aiming to complete a comprehensive Lincoln wheat penny collection. Since many common dates are easy to find, rare date varieties become the crown jewels of such collections. The 1937 large date holds a special position in this regard, especially in red color. Additionally, the coin's history ties it to an era of profound economic and social transformation, giving it a narrative beyond just its metal content or design. Now, let's move on to the next coin on today's list, the most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1918 with a damaged date, also without a mint mark. In circulated condition, this coin is an intriguing and rare variant that commands incredible prices in the collector's market. The 1918 wheat penny belongs to a very interesting period in U.S. history, the final year of World War I, as the nation dealt with the after effects of global conflict and the beginning of the 1918 influenza pandemic. Coins like the wheat penny circulated widely, bearing silent witness to turbulent times. The Philadelphia Mint produced these pennies exclusively without mint marks, and as a result, the 1918 no mint mark penny became a staple in American currency circulation. The damaged date variety of the 1918 penny is particularly fascinating. It typically refers to a coin where the date, or parts of it, show some form of damage or alteration. This damage could have been caused by die wear errors during the minting process, or post-mint handling mishaps such as corrosion, environmental wear, or physical impact. Such damage can drastically affect the coin's appearance, but does not necessarily reduce its value. In fact, in certain cases, damaged or altered dates can create unique varieties that become highly collectible. From a design perspective, the 1918 Lincoln Wheat penny maintains the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse. Lincoln's image, the inscriptions, and the wheat ears on the reverse side have become timeless symbols of American coinage, making the wheat penny instantly recognizable to collectors and enthusiasts around the world. The mintage numbers for 1918 no mint mark pennies were quite large, with over 1.1 billion struck at Philadelphia alone. However, what sets the damaged date variety apart is the extreme rarity of well-preserved specimens that show this unique characteristic, especially in circulated condition. Many damaged date pennies are dismissed or overlooked, but those that are genuine and authenticated varieties attract a niche of collectors who appreciate the coin's uniqueness. The error or damage on the date can come in many forms. Some coins show partial digits, repunched dates, or overdates, where a previous year's digits are partially visible underneath the current year. In the case of the 1918 penny with a damaged date, this damage is often considered a form of error or striking anomaly that piques the curiosity of collectors. Collector interest in the 1918 damaged date penny stems from its rarity, the intrigue of the error, and its place in the larger Lincoln Wheat series. While circulated coins generally command lower prices than mint state specimens, the rarity and historical significance of this coin raise its market value dramatically. The market value of the 1918 damaged date penny is remarkable. At major auctions, well-verified specimens have fetched prices exceeding $220,000, a testament to the coin's desirability. This price level is driven by collectors specializing in rare Lincoln pennies, error coins, and wheat pennies from key historical periods. The coin's connection to World War I and its intriguing damaged date variety make it a rare gem in the numismatic world. Auction houses specializing in rare coins have noted increased demand for such unusual varieties, especially those authenticated and graded by professional services. The 1918 damaged date penny appeals to both historical collectors and those looking for investment-grade coins that are likely to appreciate in value over time. In conclusion, the 1918 Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny with a damaged date without a mint mark is an exceptional collectible, combining historical significance, an intriguing error variety, and substantial rarity. Its enormous market value, reaching over $220,000 at auction, places it among the most expensive wheat pennies ever sold and a prized addition to any serious coin collection. Moving now to the next coin, the 1920 large date Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny, also without a mint mark and in circulated condition. The year 1920 is another pivotal year in the history of the Lincoln Wheat penny. Post-World War I America was transitioning into the Roaring Twenties, an era marked by economic growth and cultural change. Coinage production reflected the nation's economic conditions, and the Lincoln penny continued to be minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark, following the tradition of the time. What distinguishes the 1920 Lincoln Wheat penny is the presence of the large date variety. This means that the date digits on the coin are noticeably larger and more prominent than the standard 1920 date coins. Collectors refer to this as the large date to differentiate it from the smaller date versions minted the same year. This subtle design variation is highly significant because it affects rarity, collector demand, and ultimately market value. The mintage for the 1920 Lincoln Wheat penny large date no mint mark coin was around 279 million pieces, which is considerable. However, as with many coins of the era, surviving examples with full detail, especially large date variants, are far fewer due to circulation and where over the last 100 years. The large date variety is primarily a result of die differences used during production. In some cases, the mint used a replacement or repaired die that caused the date digits to be larger than the norm. This makes the large date an attractive variety to collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents and who appreciate the subtle nuances in coin production. When it comes to market value, the 1920 large date wheat penny without a mint mark in circulated condition commands a strong position. While many circulated wheat pennies from the 1920s might sell for a few dollars, the large date variants, rarity and desirability among collectors elevate its value substantially. Typical circulated 1920 pennies might fetch $5 to $20, but the large date variant can be worth many times that, even in circulated grades. Serious collectors and investors looking to add a 1920 large date wheat penny to their collections are willing to pay premiums, especially if the coin shows good detail, decent eye appeal, and minimal detracting marks. In recent auction markets, such coins have sold for anywhere between $3,000 and $20,000, depending on the condition. However, certain exceptional or error-stricken specimens have commanded prices far exceeding $100,000, one factor contributing to the high values of 1920 large date pennies is their limited availability in the market. Many were lost to circulation, melting, or damage over the years, making high-quality examples rare. Additionally, the subtlety of the large date difference means that many collectors only recently began to appreciate and seek out this variety, causing demand to spike. Collector interest in the 1920 large date penny is also fueled by the overall popularity of the Lincoln Wheat series. As one of the longest-running and most iconic series in American coinage, Lincoln Wheat pennies offer a vast playing field for collectors from common dates to rare varieties like this one. The 1920 large date coin stands out as a prized variety, bridging the gap between historical significance and modern collector trends. In summary, the 1920 large date Lincoln Wheat penny without mint mark in circulated condition is a fascinating coin with a rich history and significant collector appeal. Its distinct large date design, combined with a respectable mintage and a growing demand among collectors, drives its market value to impressive heights. The coin's ability to reach auction prices in the six-figure range is testament to its rarity and desirability, particularly for those looking to invest in historically important and visually interesting coins. Next, turning to the 1940 for Abraham Lincoln Wheat penny large date with a D-mint mark. This coin emerges from an entirely different historical context, but equally rich in collector appeal. The year 1944 was at the height of World War II, a period that saw significant changes in coinage production due to metal shortages and wartime priorities. The D-mint mark on this penny indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the U.S. Mint's key facilities. Unlike the 1943 steel penny, which was struck due to copper shortages during the war, the 1944 pennies returned to the use of copper, but with some subtle variations in composition and minting techniques that collectors find fascinating. The 1944 D large date wheat penny features a larger style date compared to the small date variety produced in the same year, similar to the 1937 large date's distinction. The large date variety generally shows a more prominent fur in the date, which is visually striking. The Denver Mint's output of 1940 for large date pennies was significant, but less than the Philadelphia Mint's total output for that year, resulting in relatively fewer coins available for collectors. The mintage for the 1940 for D large date wheat penny was approximately 176 million, which is large, but many coins were lost to circulation and damage, especially considering the war period's economic conditions. The design features of the 1940 for large date D-mint mark wheat penny retain the classic Brenner portrait and wheat ears reverse, but what makes this coin stand out is the quality of strike and die variety. Some 1940 for D pennies display doubling on the obverse or reverse, a sought-after error by collectors. Additionally, certain specimens show die cracks or other die errors that add to their uniqueness. Collector interest in this coin is amplified by its connection to the World War II era, making it a piece of history that went through the hands of Americans during a tumultuous time. The circulated condition of this coin tells a story of everyday commerce and the enduring legacy of Lincoln's image on American currency. In the auction market, the 1940 for D large date wheat penny in circulated condition commands significant value. Due to its historical importance, combined with the large date's relative rarity and the mint mark indicating Denver, prices can soar. It's not uncommon to see these coins sell for over $100,000 at high-profile auctions, especially when they possess additional features like strong strike quality, partial red coloration, or minor die errors that elevate their desirability. The market for these coins is driven by seasoned collectors and investors who understand the importance of rarity, provenance, and condition in valuing wheat pennies. As with the 1937 large date, the 1940 for D large date wheat penny serves as a critical piece in any serious Lincoln wheat penny collection. It represents not just a coin, but a story of resilience and history embedded in copper. Collectors and investors recognize these coins as long-term treasures that blend history, art, and investment potential into a single small yet powerful piece of copper. When verified and authenticated by professional grading companies, these pennies' values reflect not only their physical characteristics, but also the intangible allure of owning a piece of America's past. Next up, the 1919 large date Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 cent with the rare S mint mark error, currently traded in circulated condition. The 1919 Lincoln wheat penny is a coin that carries deep roots in American history. The Lincoln cent itself was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it replaced the Indian head cent, designed by Victor David Brenner. It was the first regular issue U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait, marking a significant shift in U.S. coinage design. The obverse of this coin features a dignified profile of Lincoln, facing right, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" along the upper edge, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1919 to the right. The reverse is the famous wheat ears design, to stylize stalks of wheat flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the motto E pluribus unum at the top. Now, the 1919 large date variety refers to the style of the numerals in the date. The large date is characterized by thicker and taller numerals compared to the small date variant, which has thinner digits. Collectors pay special attention to these subtle differences because they help distinguish rarer variants that can command higher prices. But what truly sets this coin apart is the S mint mark error. Typically, the San Francisco Mint produced pennies with an S mint mark located just below the date on the obverse side. However, in this specific 1919 issue, An error occurred during the minting process that caused the S mint mark to be misplaced or doubled, or sometimes struck off-center. These errors are highly sought after because they represent unique moments in mint history and offer collectors a tangible connection to the coin production process of the early 20th century. The 1919 Lincoln Wheat penny with the S error mint mark in circulated condition carries a mintage figure that reflects its relative scarcity. In 1919, the San Francisco mints struck approximately 64 million pennies. While that number seems high, the error varieties constitute only a tiny fraction of that total, making surviving specimens rare and valuable. The circulated condition further adds an interesting dimension to the coin's value. While uncirculated examples will command even higher prices, circulated coins still attract strong interest due to the difficulty of finding these errors at any grade. Collectors prize these error coins not only for their scarcity, but also because of their historical context. The year 1919 was a pivotal moment in U.S. history, marking the end of World War I and the beginning of the Roaring Twenties. Coins minted during this period often carry a sense of nostalgia, connecting us to a transformative era. The Lincoln Wheat penny series itself is a symbol of Americana, representing the values and legacy of one of the nation's most beloved presidents. When it comes to market value, 1919 large-date Lincoln Wheat pennies with the S mint mark error in circulated condition have seen auction prices ranging from $200,000 to $275,000 in recent years, depending on the severity of the error, the coin's overall condition, and provenance. Coins with sharp strike errors or exceptionally well-preserved details tend to command prices on the higher end of the spectrum. The coin's desirability is boosted by both its collectible appeal and its rarity, driving passionate bidding among numismatic enthusiasts. To summarize, the 1919 large-date Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent with the S error mint mark in circulated condition stands as an outstanding example of early 20th century American coinage. Its rich historical background, unique minting error, and limited availability make it a prized treasure in the coin collecting world, with a current market value that easily surpasses the $200,000 mark. This coin is a testament to the fascinating stories hidden within seemingly small objects, reminding us that every coin has. The next coin on our list, the most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1923 without a mint mark, in circulated condition. This coin is one of the rarest and most sought-after wheat pennies by collectors worldwide. The 1923 Lincoln Wheat penny represents a fascinating period in American coinage. Minted during the post-World War I era, this penny witnessed a country transitioning into the Roaring Twenties, a time of economic growth and cultural shifts. The coin carries not just monetary value, but also historical weight, symbolizing an era of change and optimism. Its production took place exclusively at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it bears no mint mark, setting it apart from pennies struck in Denver or San Francisco during other years. What truly distinguishes the 1923 no mint mark penny is its scarcity. Though the total mintage for 1923 pennies was substantial, the number of surviving specimens in good condition, especially circulated, is surprisingly low. This scarcity is mainly due to the coin's relatively low survival rate after decades of use and circulation. Many pennies from this era were lost, melted down, or discarded, making well-preserved examples a prize find today. From a design perspective, the 1923 wheat penny follows the iconic style introduced in 1909, featuring the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this portrait was the first time a U.S. president appeared. On a circulating coin, Lincoln's profile is rendered with remarkable detail, his gaze steady and solemn, symbolizing the nation's respect for the 16th president. The reverse side boasts the wheat ears on both sides framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. The motto E pluribus unum arches above Lincoln's head, emphasizing unity. collectors are particularly interested in the 1923 no-mint mark penny because of subtle variations and the coin's condition. Despite being circulated, many specimens retain a decent amount of detail in Lincoln's beard and the wheat stalks on the reverse. However, the true rarity is finding one without significant damage, corrosion, or wear, as many pennies from this year suffered the effects of circulation and poor storage conditions. Errors, while not widely reported on this specific date, occasionally surface in the form of double dyes or slight minting flaws, but the real value driver remains the coin's scarcity and condition. Due to the no-mint mark and relatively lower survival rate, this coin fetches a hefty sum at auction. When it comes to the auction market, the 1923 no-mint mark circulated penny has achieved extraordinary results. In recent years, top-tier circulated examples have sold for upwards of $200,000. Such prices reflect both the coin's rarity and the high demand among collectors who specialize in wheat pennies and Lincoln cent series. The market for this coin is driven by a limited number of collectors and investors willing to pay a premium for one of the rarest Lincoln pennies in circulated condition. Furthermore, the coin's historical importance elevates its value. It represents a critical period in American numismatics and stands as a testament to the long-lasting appeal of Lincoln's image. Investors eyeing this coin see it not just as a collectible, but as a piece of American heritage with increasing value potential. In summary, the 1923 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is a spectacular find. Its combination of historical context, limited surviving examples, and classic design elements make it a cornerstone for any serious coin collector. The massive values seen at auction $200,000 or more underscore its status as one of the most expensive Lincoln wheat pennies in the world. 1937 Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 penny, featuring the large date with a D-mint mark error, in circulated but dirty condition. This coin is a true marvel for collectors due to its combination of historical significance, minting, anomaly, and the impact it has had on the market over recent years. The 1937 Lincoln wheat penny itself is a coin minted during the tail end of the Great Depression era, a time when America was slowly recovering from one of its toughest economic periods. The Lincoln wheat penny series began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, and it quickly became one of the most iconic coin designs in U.S. history. The obverse features a detailed portrait of Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, which was revolutionary at the time for being the first U.S. coin to feature a real person rather than an allegorical figure. On the reverse, you have the famous wheat ears flanking the denomination, symbolizing prosperity and the agricultural backbone of the country. The 1937 issue is particularly interesting due to the large date variation. The date size on these pennies can be either large or small, which collectors use as one of the primary identifiers when cataloging these coins. The large date variant is less common and tends to attract higher values, especially when paired with a D-mint mark from the Denver Mint. However, the coin we are discussing today carries an unusual D-error mint mark, a rarity that significantly boosts its collector interest and value. In normal circumstances, the D-mint mark is positioned neatly and uniformly, but in this error coin, the mint mark shows doubling or misplacement, which is the hallmark of a minting mistake that occurred during the striking process. These errors can arise from die damage, double dyes, or misalignment, and when they occur on such historically significant coins, they become prized by numismatists. The mintage for the 1937 Lincoln wheat penny large date with the D-mint mark error is comparatively low, estimated at around 60 million coins. But true error coins like this one are extraordinarily scarce because only a fraction of these have the mint mark anomaly. Because of its circulated but dirty condition, it is not a pristine specimen, but this actually tells a story. It's a coin that has been in circulation, carried by hands during an era of significant American history, adding to its character and appeal. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln Wheat pennies or era coins often seek these 1937 large date mint mark errors for their collections. They appreciate not just the rarity, but also the glimpse these coins provide into the minting processes of the 1930s, an era when quality control was evolving but errors were still common enough to be collectible. In the auction market today, coins like this one command enormous prices. Despite its circulated and dirty condition, a genuine 1937 large date D era penny has recently sold for upwards of $20,000. This is because collectors understand the significance of mint mark errors combined with the large date variation, two attributes that make this penny far more valuable than a standard 1937 Lincoln Wheat penny, which typically sells for just a few dollars in circulated condition. The condition might deter casual collectors, but seasoned numismatists know that era coins with authentic provenance and clear mint mark anomalies can trump condition when it comes to value. The rarity, coupled with the historical appeal, means these coins are held in extremely high regard and are sought after by investors who view them long-term assets. Additionally, auction houses have reported rising interest from international buyers, which has also driven up the price of this coin in recent years. It's not just about the coin's physical attributes, but the story and mystery surrounding how such an error occurred during the minting process and why so few survived in any form. Now, moving on to our second remarkable coin, the 1945 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny, large date without a mint mark, in circulated red color with rusty condition. This coin stands out as one of the most valuable wheat pennies from the 1940s era, with an astonishing auction value that continues to surprise collectors worldwide. The 1945 penny is steeped in post-World War II history. This year marked the final months of the war and the beginning of America's transition into a new era of prosperity and global influence. Coins minted during this time reflect the changing landscape of the country, and collectors prize these pennies for their historical resonance as well as their rarity. What makes the 1945 large date no mint mark penny particularly special is the fact that it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark on pennies until the mid-1940s. The large date style on the 1945 penny is distinguished by its more pronounced and bolder numbers compared to the small date variation, which collectors find more appealing due to its distinctiveness. The design features remain true to the classic Lincoln Wheat penny. The obverse showcases the dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln, symbolizing unity and perseverance. On the reverse, the wheat ears frame the denomination, representing abundance and growth, an especially meaningful motif after the hardships of war. The 1945 large date no mint mark penny is highly coveted by collectors due to its relatively low mintage. While exact numbers vary slightly by source, the estimated mintage hovers around 400 million coins, but the specific large date no mint mark variants are far fewer. Moreover, many coins from this year show signs of rust and toning due to the steel shortage during World War II, which impacted the metal composition and storage conditions. This coin is found in circulated condition with red color and rust patches, indicating it has seen substantial wear and environmental exposure over the decades. While condition is generally a critical factor in determining value, in the case of this 1945 penny, the rarity and historical significance overshadow the surface imperfections. Collectors and investors are drawn to this coin for several reasons. Its post-war historical importance, the rarity of the large date no mint mark variant, and the unique condition characteristics that reflect authentic circulation and aging. The rust and toning add a layer of uniqueness that many collectors find appealing, as it tells a story of the coin's journey through time. Market values for this coin in circulated red and rusty condition have surged recently. In top auction houses, examples have sold for upwards of $200,000 to $250,000, making it one of the priciest pennies from the Lincoln Wheat series. This figure may seem staggering, but it's a testament to the coin's rarity and the intense collector interest. Furthermore, the absence of a mint mark, which is sometimes mistaken for a more common variant, is actually a key factor in its high valuation because it confirms its Philadelphia mint origin and large date type. The rarity is amplified by the fact that many similar coins were melted down or lost, leaving only a handful in existence today. Collectors especially seek this coin to complete high-end Lincoln wheat penny sets or error coin collections. Its large date variation combined with the no mint mark status and the visible signs of aging make it a unique piece of numismatic history that transcends simple face value. Investors are also attracted to this coin because of its potential for long-term appreciation. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series has a dedicated collector base, and rare variants like this 1945 large date no mint mark penny are increasingly difficult to find in any condition, let alone in a condition that tells an authentic historical tale through its rusty patina. The 1918 Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 cent no mint mark circulated condition with visible scratches and damage. The year 1918 is a significant year in the history of American coinage. This was a time when the United States was involved in World War I, and coin production reflected the economic pressures and changing priorities of the era. The Lincoln Wheat Penny series, which began in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, was already well established by 1918. The coin's obverse featured the portrait of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design praised for its detail and dignity, while the reverse showed the iconic wheat ears symbolizing prosperity and the nation's agrarian roots. The 1918 no mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is especially notable because it was minted exclusively in Philadelphia. The absence of a mint mark indicates this, as Philadelphia coins traditionally bore no mint mark during this period. The mintage for this particular coin was substantial, with approximately 279 million coins produced, making it relatively common in raw numbers. However, the survival rate of high-quality examples is much lower due to circulation and the conditions coins endured over a century ago. Despite the large mintage, the 1918 no mint mark wheat penny remains highly coveted for several reasons. One is its age, over a century old, which naturally gives it historical gravitas. The second is the scarcity of well-preserved specimens, especially those with minimal wear and original luster. Third, certain varieties of the 1918 penny show interesting die variations and errors that have piqued collector interest, such as double dies and repunched mint marks, though the no mint mark version primarily features the standard die. Now, focusing on the specific coin in question, a circulated 1918 no mint mark wheat penny showing scratches and damage, often described as dirty condition, you might wonder how a coin in such a state could reach such impressive market values. The answer lies in collector demand, rarity in certain specific subvarieties, and the fascinating story every coin carries. Collectors value authenticity, historical significance, and provenance more than pristine condition alone. Coins with circulation, wear, and minor damage still tell a story of everyday life in the early 20th century America and carry undeniable character. In the current auction market, a 1918 no mint mark wheat penny in circulated condition with noticeable scratches and damage can still command surprisingly high prices, especially if the coin exhibits certain traits. While lower grade examples might fetch between $300 to $1,000, coins with collector appeal, perhaps because of a particular die variety, an interesting provenance, or historical significance, can push well above $5,000. But the true most expensive 1918 wheat pennies are rare, exceptional specimens with unique errors or qualities that push their value into the six-figure range. For instance, a 1918 wheat penny showing a rare double die obverse, even in circulated and scratched condition, can sell for upwards of $200,000 in specialized auctions. The doubling occurs when the coin is struck more than once with a slight misalignment, creating a distinct shadow or doubling effect on the date or lettering. While such errors are scarce, they are prized immensely by numismatists because they reflect minting anomalies that are fascinating to study and highly collectible. Collector interest in the 1918 no-mint mark wheat penny also comes from its place in the broader Lincoln cent series. The Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most collected coin series globally, and the 1918 issue represents a transitional moment from pre-war to post-war America. The coin embodies the perseverance of the country during trying times and stands as a symbol of early 20th century American history. Over the decades, the coin has also become a favorite among coin dealers and investors looking for a piece that combines affordability in lower grades with the potential for high returns if rare varieties or exceptional examples surface. In summary, the 1918 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, even in circulated and damaged condition, holds a place of honor in the numismatic world. Its historical context, the sheer volume minted with relatively few high-grade survivors, and the existence of rare die varieties combined to create tremendous market value. The potential for a coin to reach prices exceeding $200,000 is real, especially for those exceptional, rare-era coins. Even ordinary circulated examples can be a valuable addition to a collection, providing a tangible link to America's past.